Hello, everyone. My name is Gabby, and I'm going to be leading this cohort for the book. It's essentially the what is this called? The Tidy Tuesday cookbook. It's super interesting because this book is technically not even published yet. It's ready, and the publisher has it. They're just like reviewing the final steps, but we decided to snag it. We were in a book club before this one. It was also on data visualization, and we were talking about what book we should read next. We're very interested in improving our data visualization skills, etc. And I suggested we read this book because I knew that it was very new, and I knew that Nicola Rennie had just finished it, or I was thinking it's on the final stages. And then lo and behold, I asked John, he agreed. I asked Nicola if she was okay with it because I didn't know if she wanted to lead her own book club, right, based on her book. And everybody said yes. And then here we are. So it's super exciting because it's like I said, this book is technically not even published, but it will be in the coming months. So that's what we're gonna go through today. This is gonna be like an introduction on how the book club is going to work. And you can decide from now or for the first few sessions if this is a book that you are interested in reading, if this is for you, or if this is something that maybe you're more advanced, or maybe you feel like it's too much for you. So that is essentially what we're going to go through today. Before we do that, though, every time I lead a book club, I like to start by having everyone introduce themselves. You don't have to say much. You can say as little or as much as you want. If you want, I can start so that you guys sort of like have an idea of what we would like to know. Like I said, you can just say your name. That's fine. I know that people usually don't like doing this part, but since we're going to be together for at least 14 weeks, so then, it's sometimes nice to sort of like get to know you. So I'll start. My name is Gabby. I have been in the DSLC community since 2000, I want to say 19. Um, Usually asking questions. Well, not lately, but in the past, I started with asking a lot of questions. People were so welcoming that I fell in love with this community. And I just hold on to it like, like I don't know, like a remora attached to a shark. So I was at the time I was getting my studying for my PhD. So all the questions that I had related to how to code things, I was panicking essentially, but they were always so kind, welcoming, and solving every question that I had. And then I discovered that they also had book clubs. So I was like, hey, I want to be a part of this. So I joined several book clubs attending, and then I told John, I think I'm ready to lead some book clubs. He said, that's fine, let's do it. And then I don't even know how many I've so far, at least four that I can remember. Um, so that doesn't obviously mean that I am the best or an expert in leading book clubs. I still make some mistakes, but I really, really enjoy it. And I really, really enjoy creating like our own little learning community. So that's kind of like my style. A little bit of my background is I'm an ecologist, so all I talk about is ecosystems, animals, and wildlife because that is what's in my heart. But I'm also a data scientist, and I love talking about data. I don't care what type of data it is, and I love data visualization. That's like where my heart lies. So hence this book club. I am currently living in Guatemala City in Central America. I was living in the US before, and now I moved here, and then we'll see what happens in a few years. I am sort of like, I move a lot. So I'm usually every year I move to somewhere new. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And yeah, that's me. So if anybody else wants to say something. Oh, and regarding R, so I have like 10 years experience working with R. I am by no means an expert. I've just been doing this for a very long time, I think. And it's my preferred language. although I'm interested in Python too. But anyway, I'll leave the floor for someone else. So whoever wants to go now, please.
I can follow you, Gabby.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks for that, Gabby. Hi, everyone. I'm Josh. I was also a part of the previous book club on data visualization that Gabby led, so we're kind of both crossing over from there, as are a few others on the call. Um, our user based in Canada, data scientist, data analyst type person, been using R for like about 5 years professionally, I would say, but had earlier roots in it through like my master's program, which was also in ecology, plant ecology, although I am now much less of an ecologist and could not remember the plant names I studied so hard to remember. Um, yeah, excited to learn all about data visualization. Big fan of Nicola Rennie's work on Blue Sky. So excited to glean any insights I can from her awesome work.
I'm happy to follow as the other person has their video on. My name is John, pronounce he, him. I live in New York. I have been a part of the DSLC via Slack for probably like 7 years, but I
John, I think you froze if you're listening.
For me too, Gabby.
I'm sorry?
Oh, just he's frozen for me too. Just
Yeah,
so
okay,
you know,
okay.
it's not just you.
Oh, okay. Oh, and he was not frozen before.
Yeah.
Oh, John.
can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you now. Go.
I'm doing the old turn off the video and see if that helps. Um, So I've been a part of the community for a bit, but I actually haven't been able to do as many book clubs as I'd like because um, I was a classroom teacher. I went and got my doctorate in education, and then my work is still a lot in schools, and so the timing has been pretty tough. But this is actually fortunately during the lunch hour, so this is actually perfect to work out. And I'm just really excited to be able to work through a book with other people because I do know that that's such a great way to learn.
Oops. Thank you, John. Who else wants to go now?
Hey everyone, my name is Heido. I am a school-based data analyst, working out of Philly. I joined the Slack community at some point last year. Wasn't very involved or didn't get a chance to poke around until recently, and saw this book club and ggplot is great and Tidy Tuesday is awesome. So I said, why not? And I'm excited to be here and learn a lot.
And what's your background, Jairo? Is it like ecology, like other people said, or is engineering? What is your background?
Psychological research,
Okay.
and that's where like I learned in my master's program, I learned R and statistics, and then I pivoted that into data analysis at a cyber charter.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Jairo. Who wants to go now?
I'm happy to go.
Go, Red, go. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, maybe I'll turn my camera on. All right, so my name is Retsidi Sizwe Munyake. I don't actually expect anyone to be able to pronounce the name, so you can just call me Retsi. I was also in the other book club, the database one, but so I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa. So that book club was quite late for me. Fortunately, this one is at like 8 p.m., so that's much more manageable. Yeah, so my background is in statistics. I've been using R for quite a while now. I work as a research software engineer at the research group at the University of Cape Town. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this book club. Awesome.
Thank you, Redzi. I call you Red, but if you prefer Redzi, I will call you Redzi. Welcome
Oh, no,
again.
no, no. That is fine as well. people always get like different variations of it. It's perfectly okay.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay,
I'm
Vanessa,
Neta.
go. Mhm.
I work as a data analyst, and I have basically very low knowledge of R. So whatever I can learn is would be great for me. I was also part of the previous book club with Gabby and Josh, and it was great. So looking forward to this one too.
Perfect. Thank you, Vanessa. And now Darakshan, I think that's how you pronounce your
Hi.
name. You want to
Yes,
go?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So my name is Araksha, and I have a biochemistry background. I do not have as such, that formal training in R. I'm a self-learn
Mhm.
R user, I can say. And I'm in India, India right now, and it's 11:46. And as Libby used to say, you can lurk around in the DS Hangout and stuff. So I'm just here to see, like, if I can manage. So yeah. And hopefully, if I make it into the week second and third, I have a good news that I can share, most probably. So, and I know Josh and John sir from Blue Sky, and Gabby too. So it's good to see you.
Yes, I think we
Thank
follow each other, and we've been in book clubs before, so that's super, super exciting. We are forming our own little learning community. All right, you guys. So now that we all introduced ourselves a little bit, we probably are going to have more people coming in on week 2 and week 3, because they usually skip the first week because it's just like, you know, general information, which that's what I'm going to jump right into right now. Let me see where we are. Okay, so let's see. Oh no, what did I do? Okay. Allow. And then let me just move this little ribbon out of the way. Okay. So I have a few slides that we're going to go through, but it's going to be rather quick. So I don't think we're going to use the entire hour. First, let me introduce you to the book that we're going to be reading. It's this one, The Art of Data Visualization with ggplot2, like I mentioned before, by Nicola Rennie. So she's calling it the Tidy Tuesday Cookbook. And that's super exciting for our community, for DSLC, because it's the first book that mentions, not only in the title, but in the description, that they are essentially using a cookbook based on the Tidy Tuesday. If you're not familiar with what Tidy Tuesday is, Tidy Tuesday started many years ago. And what it is, it's essentially every week, I think John, which is our beloved leader of this DSLC community, John the Geek. So John releases this data set every, I think it's either Sunday afternoon or Monday, so that people can have access to a big data set. And then you can use it to practice any type of data visualization that you want, or you can also use it for tables to create a table, a map, whatever you want. You can use Python, you can use R, you can use whatever you want. The idea is that what we usually need in order to code and do analysis is data. So that's what he's been doing for the past few years. You can also submit or suggest data. There's a whole method to do that if you want to learn more about that. We can talk more about that in Slack. But you can also, if you find a data set that you think could be useful for everyone, you can also be like the curator for that week and send that. There's a whole methodology on how to do that. But anyway, send it to John and see if it's good. So this is, like I said, the Tidy Tuesday cookbook. So that means that the data that we're going to be using throughout the book it comes from Tidy Tuesday. It comes from that. So the idea is that once you have that data set, once you have that table, you have that graph, you have that map, you publish it on social media using the hashtag Tidy Tuesday. And we started in Twitter. But then the community moved, and now we're basically all of us are in Blue Sky. So if you also have an account on Blue Sky, please you're more than welcome to join the community. I am just going to open my own Blue Sky so that you guys can see that there are, if you're here on Blue Sky, you can see that there is, let me see, because I never know how to move through these things. I think it's in my feeds. There's going to be a feed for Tidy Tuesday. And there's also going to be I think this one is the one that Nicola curated. There's also a feed for ggplot2, and you can pin them on top of your account. So every time someone either uses the hashtag ggplot2 or Tidy Tuesday, or just the word itself in the post, that's what's going to be collated into this lists, which are called feeds in Blue Sky. So this is a super cool way for you to not just find inspiration, but to also like see what other people are doing essentially with their Tidy Tuesday data set. So I think it just shows like the last week, because then essentially you won't be able to see more than that. So it's something that you have to like, keep an eye on it. But like I said, I think that, oh, no, Cedric Scherer is the one that did the ggplot one, but I think Nicola did one too, and I don't remember if she did the Tidy Tuesday. Oh yeah, she did the Tidy Tuesday one. So yeah, that's for inspiration to learn how others are coding. That's a great resource right there. So anyway, that's a little bit of this. So now let's go back to our book club. Like I said, there are several chapters. The way the book club works is that every week we sort of like divide what chapter each person is gonna do. And for that, we go to the sign-up sheet. I'm gonna show you in a little bit on Slack where it is because it's on bookmarks. So here, what you can do is claim a chapter. Oh, my last name is Palomo. I guess John doesn't know how to write my last name, how to spell my last name. Palomo. Did it change? Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Did it? Yes, okay. So I have the first ones. And then if someone doesn't claim a chapter, because I'm the lead, I'm the responsible for this book club, the person responsible for this book club, then I will assume that one. So what I suggest you do is if you have, out of all of these 14 chapters, if there's one of those that you really want to learn, even if you don't know anything about it, it doesn't matter. I suggest you sign up for that one and become the presenter for that one, because it's going to force you to read through the chapter, to go through the code, and to sort of like learn and explain it later. So if you didn't know anything about that one, but you were always curious about how to do that specific chart or that topic in general, then claim that chapter. If it's something that you're not really interested in, or that's a very busy week for you, then don't worry. Leave it to someone else. And like I said, if someone doesn't claim that chapter, I will 100% do it for everyone, right? Like I'll be the one presenting. So if you can see, we're going to go through it with the slides in a little bit, but there's a bunch of topics that are super, super interesting. So in order for you to access this, let me see. I want to see what you guys are doing. Yeah, so you see my Slack here. If you go here to bookmarks on your on Slack, here's where you're gonna be able to see the claim a chapter. That is what's gonna take you straight to that to this Google Docs document, and you'll be able to just write down your name, and you will see exactly when you're supposed to present. And for that, you should do some slides, but because this is a new book club, oh, whoops, sorry about that. Where am I here? Sorry. I need to stop sharing. Hold on one second. Sorry, my computer is like losing its mind right now. So I'm gonna show you how to do those slides. All the instructions are I'm going to show you exactly where that is. Did I not? Okay, here. So if you go to GitHub, and if you don't know how to use GitHub, don't worry. I can explain and send the links exactly on how to use this. But all the slides are going to be here on the book club that we're going to be doing right now, which is the Tidy Tuesday Cookbook. And then you just have to clone it into your own, well, first you fork it into your own account, and then you clone it into your computer, you create a new branch, and then you sort of like manipulate it, and then you send it back. I can 100% guide you through this process through Zoom, like one-on-one on Thursday at 1 or whenever you have time, so that you can, you learn how to use GitHub too. So that's another skill that is not intended, but it's like a sort of like a skill that you can also develop here. And then, yeah, so then you pull in the pull request, and John is usually very good at this, and he will approve them real fast. So that's essentially how those slides work. Let me show you how the slides look like. So these are the slides that I created. Because it's a new book club, we don't have any slides that other cohorts have created. So we're gonna have to develop ours. What has happened in the past is that sometimes people don't have the time to put together the slides. I highly encourage you to do it, but if for whatever reason you don't have the time, we can go through the book. Like, let's say you are presenting chapter 2, we can sort of go through the book like this, and you sort of like use this, like the URL essentially, and then you sort of guide us through, well, in order to create this plot, this is like the code, blah, blah. But I highly encourage you to create those slides. And I am more than happy to help you with GitHub, etc. These are in our Markdown. We haven't moved them to Quarto. So if anybody is not familiar with this, I 100% sincerely telling you, reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you on setting this up. And I'm going to show you how it looks like in R. So I have my console to the right. Sorry, I have this a little differently than people usually do. But this is essentially what you end up writing, right? Like it's just your slides with the content in our Markdown. Okay. Are there any questions so far, you guys, or anyone has any comments? Okay, if not, we can just start. And feel free to post anything on the chat, and feel free to just interrupt me too if you have any questions or if you have like anything that you want to add to the discussion. So let's look at the learning objectives that we're going to have for this chapter and also throughout the book. So the idea for today is to introduce the book, The Art of Data Visualization with ggplot2, written by Nicola Rennie, like I said. And we're going to understand the overall structure of the book so that we can sort of like understand the 4 sections that we have and more or less what this book is about. I sort of like already explained to you how the book club works, which means that every week someone is responsible for a chapter and then they guide the discussion, and we are all here like sort of like obviously listening, etc. Afterwards, you may be able to decide whether this book is right for you or not after I go through all the chapters and see if this is something that you're really interested in learning or not. This book is going to help you improve the way you create graphs in R by using ggplot2 and the tidyverse. So it's very important for you to understand that this book is not using base R. This book is using the tidyverse. That means all the packages that are in the tidyverse, dplyr, all of them. That's what we're going to be using in order to clean out the data, wrangle with the data. Those are the packages that we're going to be using, and the visualizations are going to be done in ggplot2. So by going through this book, you're not just going to improve the way that you create graphs, but you're also going to improve the design aspect, which is completely different from the programming, right? The programming, anybody can tell you that, but the design, that's a little bit more nuanced. Yes, Josh?
Do we need to be recording this, like with the start
No.
thing? No,
It
it's the
records
introduction thing.
automatically.
Oh, does it?
What
Okay.
what I forgot was the start and the stop.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. So John
Yeah.
or the computer knows where to trim it.
Yeah. So now it's just gonna, I'll write down the stop. I forgot the start. So then, yeah, John always knows how to handle that. He will yell at me, but it's my mistake. No, he won't yell at me, but he hates it when we don't remember. Anyway, so those are the learning objectives. Now, who is this book aimed at, or who should read this book? Essentially, anybody who wishes to develop or improve their data visualization skills in R. It doesn't matter if your language was Python before, if your language was Julia, it doesn't really matter. If you were using Excel before, this could be helpful for users that do not know how to do data visualization in R. She starts out a little bit with data wrangling. So if you want to know more about R, if you're truly a beginner, I recommend you also do the other book club, which is, oh my God, what is it called? Data science. Wait, let me see what the other book club is called. I never remember what the other book club is.
R for data science?
R for data science, that's the one. So R for data science, I'm not sure if they have a new cohort or not, but the videos are there. That book is like the basics of the basics. So it won't teach you a lot about ggplot2, but it will teach you a lot about how to use R essentially. So you can start with that one. But if you know a little bit about R and you are familiar with the tidyverse, then this book is for you. Because like I said, we're using the tidyverse. If you're using base and you want to learn more about tidyverse, maybe this book would be for you. Because the way she explains the data wrangling and all of that is, I think it's good, even if you come from base R, right? You do not need to be experienced in ggplot2. That's what this book is going to teach you. If you just know how to do plots in base R, good. You don't need to know ggplot2. You just need to know that that is the package that we're going to be learning how to use, essentially. One more thing that I wanted to sort of like hone in on is that I know that a lot of people are like right now saying Python, 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 that's the language. For me, R is not going anywhere for many reasons that we don't have to go through here. I'm gonna send you this link so that you can read this sort of like this website and what it says about what the programming languages are for January 2026, like which are the most popular ones, how much are they growing. And obviously Python is the number one right now. Everybody's like going crazy about Python. C is not going anywhere either. But if you see on 10, so top 10 is R, and it is growing, even growing more so than Python. So R is not going anywhere. If you think that, oh my God, now the pressure, I need to learn more Python and forget about R, I think that's a mistake. I think you should stay with R if that's where you are. And if you want to, go with Python. I think that the trend right now is like do hybrid things, Python and R. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. I just wanted to make a point in saying that R is not going anywhere. So the skills that you're going to be learning here in this book club, they're good. You're being supported by the data. Keep learning R. Anyway, all right, so let's go here. So let's go through these 4 sections. This book is divided in 4 sections and 40 chapters. So the first section is called Common Charts Don't Need to Be Boring. That's covered in 4 chapters, and essentially it's going to teach you how to make classic chart types, but more effective and more interesting. So think about your histogram. Let's take it to the next level. That's essentially what this section is about. Section 2 is like, let's add some aesthetics. Let's make it more pretty. So the section 2 is called Making Use of Icons, Fonts, and Text. 3 chapters. In this chapter, you'll see different ways to load fonts into R, use icons within charts, and use colored text as an alternative to a traditional legend. So it's essentially all the aesthetics, all the pretty things, how to make it more aesthetically pleasing, I guess. Section 3 is going to be working with images, and that's covered in 2 chapters. So you'll see examples of loading and processing images in R and learn how to add them to plots to create custom labels, for example, but also like place images differently within your plot, within your ggplot2. And section 4 finally is visualizing spatial data. So that's covered in 3 chapters and essentially is how to make a graph, how to make a map in ggplot2. If you have spatial data, how you can manipulate that in order to produce a very nice map. And the last chapter, which doesn't belong to any of the other sections, is just covering tips and tricks to help you improve your plots. All right, let's see. Okay, so here you can see, for example, the titles of each one of the chapters. If we go back to our sign-up sheet, you can see that, for example, some of them are very descriptive of what it's in there. Waffle plots and pictograms. Yeah, I want to learn more about waffle plots. Let's go. Another one is GG text. Yeah, so that's adding text into like an annotations into your graph. So if you have a point and then you want to add a little label on top, that's what this chapter is going to be about. But there are others where you're like, what is this about? So then I recommend like this one, manipulating images in R. That's not saying anything. Go to the book, go through the chapter a little bit and see if that's for you, if that's one thing that you're very interested in learning more of, right? Okay, so then the beauty of this book is that each chapter is structured in the exact same way. So we're going to be seeing the same recipe, just the content is what's going to change. So the structure is essentially we start with an introduction to the data set. That data set can be so that you can download a CSV file. We can also use APIs in order to connect with the data and then download it, or using URLs directly, right? And then downloading the data. So how we're gonna collect the data? Different ways, but we start with that. Then we go through an exploration of that data set. We wrangle it a little bit with the data, we clean it out. That's before you start any type of visualization, any type of graph, you have to make sure the data looks the way you want it to look, right? Clean and ready. Then you start to preparing your plot or to prepare your plot. That just means like, what do you call it? Bones and something. Anyway, like the main structure of your plot. Then we go into advanced styling. You want to change the font, you want to add more color, you want to change the color palette, you want to do the aesthetics part. That's what comes next. And then she goes into a reflection on that visualization that we just created and say, well, does this show exactly the story that I want to share? What is this graph telling me? Should I just go in or go back and redo it? Is this really telling the story that I want to do? So then it starts with that, it goes into that reflection essentially. And then a few exercises that are open-ended so that you can sort of like finish thinking about the skills that you learned in that chapter. I think it would be a good idea if you can to sort of like go through those exercises. There are not like 20, right? It's a couple of exercises that it would be interesting to see if we can add them to our slides so that we can, think about exactly what she wants us to think about. So if we go to chapter 5, for example, and then we go to the exercises, again, it's just 2. It's nothing like crazy. The other thing is your slides should show both the code and the data visualization that we end up with so that we can actually learn both things, right? Like we can see them both on your slides. But I think this is genius because this is essentially how we come about creating a graph. I think these are the steps that every time we want to create a data visualization, plot a graph, these are the steps that we should go through. So I love that she included this in her book. Like I mentioned before, this book is gonna assume that you know the basics of the tidyverse, you know how to install and load packages, and you can call a function and save the output to variables. So that means the basics of R, that you master those, that you know exactly. If I tell you like assign this data to this name, to this label, you know what I mean. If I say run this chunk, you sort of like understand also what that means, right? And if not, then always ask, because we can sort of like guide you through it a little bit. And then that's it. This is where our video is gonna show up once John is done finishing with the video and editing and all of that. And then whatever we wrote down in the chat here on Zoom, that's also gonna show up here. And then for cohort 2, if they start another one, the same thing. All of those videos are gonna show up here for each one of the cohorts and their corresponding chat log. But that's like, I would say like within 3 days after finishing our session, then that's when it shows up. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Yes. So I think that's it, you guys. We went through this whole thing. Think about if this is for you, right for you, which chapters you would like to do. And yeah, we can chat more on Slack if you want to too. Anybody else has any questions or comments or thoughts?
Nothing for me. Excited to get into it.
Great. Yes, I'm excited. You claimed next week's chapter, right, Josh? Perfect.
Yeah, barbell plots, dumbbell plots, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. All right, you guys. So if nobody else has any more comments or observations or questions, I will see you on Slack. I am 24/7 there. So 24/7, 25/8, I would say. I'll have it on my phone and I'm always, always, always here. So if you have any questions, if you need to do something, if you don't know how to do something and you're presenting, always, always, always ask the question. You can ask it on your channel specifically, and then one of us will go and help you, or I will help you 100%. So yeah, so that's it. I thank you for being here. I'm excited to start this next week, and we'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Gabby. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Gabby.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a lovely week.
Bye-bye.